Hey guys, what's going on? Here is an ETC here with a video for a review of the movie Captain Marvel starring Brie Larson. Alright, so Captain Marvel. I really liked that movie. I thought it was really good. I thought Brie Larson did amazing. Nick Fury, as always. Samuel L. Jackson does amazing. Clark Gregg, great job reprising his role as Phil Coulson. Overall, I really loved the movie. It wasn't a big, it wasn't a movie that had a shocking, turning point. To people who aren't really up on the comics and the movies, who don't really, super pay attention, I'm sure that before I go any further, spoiler alert, gonna talk all about the movie. So I'm sure that the plot point where the Skrulls become the good guys and the Kree are the bad guys is shocking to those who don't really know a lot about the Kree. But I've been caught up on the Kree. So from the very beginning, when they showed the Kree were the good guys, I was like, no, they're the bad guys. Like Ronan, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I know that they're the bad guys. Especially when the guy showed up. I forget his name, but he has the little beard right here, and he's got the two sticks. But he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I recognized him immediately. You know, he's at the very beginning when he, stops Chris Pratt when he's getting the orb. And he's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Star-Lord. And the guy goes, who? You know, same guy from, that was in Captain Marvel. So I knew that he was bad, and so I knew that the Kree were bad. So that wasn't a big shock to me. One thing I thought Marvel could have done better with the movie was the Tesseract. I understood it completely. I knew how they got the Tesseract from Howard Stark, and that's how the Tesseract was with Marvel, because it worked with on Project Pegasus, so it made sense to me. But even my friend who's kind of caught up, we go see all the movies together. After the movie, he asked me about it. He was like, how did the Tesseract get there? So I explained it to him, and he was like, oh, that makes sense. But I wish they would have referenced that in the movie, and I totally agree. A lot of people think the Tesseract's plot is confusing, and it's really not when you look at it non-biasedly. It makes sense. But a lot of people were confused because they were like, well, that doesn't make sense because Captain America, you know, he was fished out of the water in early 2000s. But the Tesseract was found differently from Captain America, so it actually does make sense. Big plot point that does bother me, just a little bit of a plot hole, was S.H.I.E.L.D. That really bothered me in the movie. Because in Iron Man 1, which was the start to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Phil Coulson comes up to Pepper Potts and says, hi, I'm Agent Phil Coulson with the Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division. Pepper says, wow, that's a mouthful. And he goes, yeah, we know, we're working on that. And then in Iron Man 2, he shows up and goes, Phil Coulson, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right? So that's, S.H.I.E.L.D. got its name between 1 and 2. So it made a lot of sense. But it didn't make sense when Nick Fury in the 90s shows up and goes, Nicholas J. Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., showing his badge. That doesn't make sense because if Phil Coulson in the early 2000s was calling it the Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement Logistics Division because there was no nickname for it, then that wouldn't have made sense. Now, I do get it because it is a mouthful to say every time you want to identify yourself as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. to say the full name. So it does make sense, but it still bothered me in the movie just because they established it in Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2 what it was. They wouldn't have S.H.I.E.L.D. as it was called back in the 1990s. So that did bother me just a little bit. Just because it was a small little detail that they could have easily addressed, you know, because they said S.H.I.E.L.D. a lot, and that's just something they didn't have to do. Let's see here. I really did enjoy the movie. I thought Brie Larson did amazing. I've seen it twice. I'm going to go see it a third time before Avengers Endgame. I thought it was a really good movie. Goose the cat was my favorite character. I thought Goose was really good. 10 out of 10 to Goose. I know Brie Larson was allergic to cats, so there was a CGI cat some of the time, but you couldn't tell the CGI cat from the real cat, which was really good. It wasn't a cheesy animation for the cat. They made it really detailed looking to where you couldn't tell the real cat and the animated cat apart. I like that he turned out being an alien. I thought that was funny because Nick Fury the whole time is like, it's a cat. And then Goose does his tentacles, the flirkin, and eats them, and Fury's like, I'm going to trust you not to eat me. I thought that was really funny. The soundtrack to Captain Marvel is amazing. I love the soundtrack. I love all of it. I've got it on a playlist combined with Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 because I think that those three playlists are so good. Captain Marvel soundtrack was amazing. Love the Blockbuster reference when she falls through the building and she's in the Blockbuster building and she shoots the poster. Now, originally the poster was supposed to be from the movie The Mask, but they couldn't get the licensing to it, which is why she originally shoots it, because she thinks it's a scroll and turns out just being a poster. Other than that, I really liked it. I know a lot of people had problems with Brie Larson's acting in this movie, but I didn't. For the fact of she did play the character a little dry, and a lot of people didn't like that. But I understood it mainly from the fact of she didn't know who she was. She's got two different people. She's Verse when the movie starts, and then she finds out that she's Carol Danvers. She's trying to figure out who she is. She's trying to discover who Carol Danvers is. So I get why her acting was not like other Marvel characters are in this movie. Now, you could see her character acting towards the end of the movie when she was like, I'm Carol Danvers, that's who I am. You started to see it. And I think Avengers Endgame is going to change a lot of people's minds about Captain Marvel for the fact of she knows who she is. It's been like 28 years. So she knows who she is. So I think she'll play the character a little different in Avengers Endgame, is what I definitely think she will do. She'll just play it a little differently. I loved that Goose took Fury's eye, because in the Winter Soldier, Steve's yelling at Fury because of the protocol, and Captain America says we should trust everyone, and Fury says the last time I trusted somebody I lost an eye, and it turned out being Goose. So I thought that was really funny. He ended up losing his eye to Goose. And then Phil Coulson at the end of the movie, so sir, is it true that the Kree burned your eye out because you refused to give up the Tesseract? And he says, I can neither confirm nor deny. So I thought that was really funny. I thought that the scene with the glass eyes was really important actually to the movie, because Coulson thinks his eye's been burned out so he doesn't have an eye, and then he has the glass eyes, but he chooses the eye patch instead, so everybody assumes he didn't have an eye, which kind of makes sense for the big reveal in the Winter Soldier when he flips his eye patch up and he tells the vice president, you need to keep both eyes open. So that makes sense how his retinal scan for the eye that was scratched out was still there. I loved the end credit scene for Avengers Endgame. That got me so excited for Avengers Endgame, where she shows up and she goes, where's Fury? Oh, that was so good. It'll be interesting to see if they show that in Avengers Endgame, if they'll show that scene. Because I know a lot of people didn't go see Captain Marvel, but are going to see Avengers Endgame. So I'm just kind of curious how they're going to introduce her in Avengers Endgame. If they're just going to assume everybody knows who she is, like, we're good. Or if they're going to introduce her somehow. I thought the fight scenes were great. All the CGI work was amazing. For Brie Larson, all of her special effects were so cool. So I thought it was super interesting. It was a great movie. I hope they do a sequel to it. I think they're going to. Overall, Captain Marvel, I'd I'd rank it in my top 5 Marvel movies, hands down. I don't know exactly where it falls, but it's in my top 5, hands down, because I just love Captain Marvel. I thought it was great. I thought that there was funny moments, serious moments. Overall, the movie was amazing. I'm so excited for Avengers Endgame. Loved Captain Marvel, loved Goose, loved everything about it. So that's my movie review for Captain Marvel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. We're almost at 100 subscribers. When we get to 100, I'm going to do some sort of giveaway. I haven't decided what yet, but I will be doing a giveaway of some sort that my subscribers can sign up for. But you have to be a subscriber to do that. And the quicker we get to 100, the quicker we'll do the giveaway. So give this video a thumbs up. Go check out a couple of my other videos, and have a great day here on Heroes and ETC.